This week, I sold over 100 cards from 4 different decades, and a Harrison Ford auto sold for over 10 grand. Let's get into it. Hey, I'm Tommy from Tommy's Trading Post, and every week I go into the sales that I had for my Star Wars trading card business to show you what's moving in the market. I look at some of the most expensive cards sold on eBay the past week, and I give you some tips around building a trading card business since it's still something I'm working on, and I love to see what other people are doing to improve their sales and just have fun along the journey. So diving into what sold last week, as usual, the 1997s were a big portion of what I sold. As you can see here, 55 of the total cards that I sold were from the 1977s. A lot of those coming from the Series 1, the blue series, which is pretty normal. And then the Series 4, the green series, has actually been selling a decent amount. I had 17 this past week. I think the week before I was up in the 30s. Getting into the next side is the 1980s. These are normally my second bestseller. The Series 1s are the ones that do the best here. And then Series 2 kind of trickle in here and there. And then Series 3, I'm still working on building up a good stock for, so I don't have too many cards. So they just don't sell as frequently. Again, 83, I have some cards. There's not too many that sell too quickly on here. This is Series 1 and 2, the blue and red. And then 95, this was one big order. I normally don't sell that many 1990s. I have the 93 Series 1, the 95 Series 3, I think some of the LucasArts, but they're ones that get printed a lot or did get printed a lot. And so I just don't sell that many. There's a lot of people selling them for maybe cheaper prices. It's just not a big mover for me. Then getting into the 2020s, I had some Chrome Galaxy Original Trilogy art cards go. I believe this was one order as well. And then the 2023 was all Galaxy except for I had three flagship cover art sell. That was to one person. And then a Chrome Refractor, which was actually the Darth Vader. And was pretty interesting since that was the first Chrome Refractor that I sold as I got that up recently. But you can see here by the days, the 14th was a bigger day. And then the 16th as well, and then some spread out. The 18th was 30 cards. Again, a lot of those Series 1s, but this is a pretty typical week, maybe a little bit down, but the 1977s being the big portion of everything is pretty typical. Now, diving into the most expensive sales this past week, we have this 1977 Series 1, number 58 Harrison Ford card. It is an auto 10, and it sold for over 15K or around 15K is what it's looking like. And it's an amazing card. Whoever got this is extremely happy, I am sure, as there's not too many of these 1977s, especially auto 10s. And this one looks pretty clean, blue on blue for the ink in the card. I'm a big fan. It would be great to have one of these, but is obviously very expensive. Getting into the second one that I wanted to look at is this 2021 sketch of Grogu. It is a Mint 9, sold for around $2,500 with 27 bids. It's pop 1. It is a really cool looking card with just Grogu sitting in the middle, a little bit of a shadow, but pretty simple card, but a really good looking one in my opinion. Looking at the third is a 1977 again. This is the Luke Skywalker number 1, but is in Argentina. And why I thought this was interesting is I was just talking with a guy who got a bunch of Australian 1977s graded, and they were near mint 8s, they were 7s. I think he got one 9, and he got one Luke Skywalker that was a 6. So something selling for around 1900 with 14 bids for in Argentina. I am very curious what he gets for some of those cards as he is looking to sell them. Getting into the fourth card I wanted to look at, it is a 2019 Topps Star Wars Adam Driver autographed black 1 of 1 near mint 8. I think it's a really clean looking card, great auto. This style of the card is great with everything being darker except for a little bit of the background. Sold for over or close to $1,200. Just a great card, definitely expensive, but one that somebody definitely wants to add to their collection, especially if they're a Kylo Ren or maybe an Adam Driver fan. Now, getting into the tip or the thing that I changed this past week is to use white backgrounds for your card photos. I was typically using all black. All of my variation listing cover images were black, and I looked a little bit deeper into this, and eBay really pushes those white backgrounds. And then Google also will showcase your cards in Google search if it has a white background. That is kind of their normal thing from what I've seen and working in SEO as well. So I switched all my variation card listing cover photos to white backgrounds. I'm switching a lot of my card photos to white backgrounds. I used black because I thought it looked better, but the white definitely showcases the card better. So that is my one little tip there. But if other people have different thoughts, shoot them in the comments. But I am switching everything over to white backgrounds from here on out. And the update on Tommy's Trading Post or me building this Star Wars trading card business is I'm still working through a very big collection that I bought. in early September. It was around $700 worth of cards. There were a lot of autos, graded cards, numbered cards, a lot of the 2022 and 2023 Galaxy cards, and it's just a lot to go through. I'm still figuring out how to go through a collection. Do I take a bunch of photos and then work on the listings and get them live? Do I do drafts and then take photos later? It's just something I'm still figuring out how to do effectively, efficiently, but it takes a lot of time. And also with switching over a lot of my other stuff that was already listed to white images or white backgrounds, and keeping in stock the variation listings that I have for the 77s and the 80s as they sell. It's just interesting at times to figure out how to balance all of the, restocking, shipping orders, and then going through this collection and getting new listings. So if anyone has any tips on how to go through big collections and get stuff listed, I am all ears. But that's the big update for Tommy's Trading Post. But with that being said, this is the first episode of our weekly series. If you are a big fan of Star Wars, want to keep up with the market, or just learn a few things about building a trading card business, stay tuned for some next episodes, and I'll see you next week.